Thank you, Ashwin Gunasekharan, the CEO of PSAP. So, ladies and gentlemen, to all our viewers, especially those who are watching this right now, I know we've promised you something very interesting. The highlight for day one of VCE 2020, of course, is the keynote presentation. And to participate, to post question, you can see a QR code. Scan the QR code to participate and post questions. All right. If let's say you cannot see the QR code, refresh your page. All right. So the person that we want to invite for the keynote presentation is no stranger to festivals. He has been around directing festivals after festivals for a very, very long time, and is very, very established in the industry, especially in the art scene. So he is Malaysia's strong advocate for arts. And currently, he sits in the industry advisory panel of Cendana, the National Cultural Economy Development Agency, which was initiated in June 2017. And he is currently also the chairman of Federation of Asian Cultural Promotion. Let us welcome Joe Sidek with his keynote presentation, Success Through Perseverance.
Hello, thank you for this kind invitation for me to speak, Success to Perseverance. I'm Joe. I'd like to share my 62 years of finding the right job and how I got where I am today. Yeah? I was born in 1958 in this hospital in Johor called Sultanah Aminah Hospital. And then I attended 1968 was when I first came to Penang and Francis Light School. And then I went to free school for 6 years. And then I didn't finish my sixth form. I then went off to the UK to do my A-levels. My father thought I was a serious young man, and he wanted me to go and study town and country planning at the University of Manchester. So I did 3 years in Manchester studying town planning, thinking that when I came back, there would be a job as a town planner. I came back I came back in 1981. And I started doing gardens all over Penang, and I got invited to do a garden in San Francisco. I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I enjoyed doing gardens. Then I had a brief stint of doing a modeling agency here in Penang, which I enjoyed a lot. Then I started a club. Looking for the right career, I started a club. We ran it for, I think, 3 or 4 years. It was named after a cafe restaurant in San Francisco, which was called Beach Blanket Babylon. I also started a restaurant. Then in 2001, my late father passed away, and I had to take a job as an industrialist in a factory in Perai, working in textile chemicals. It was a job that I was not prepared for, but I had to take it up. So I'm still working at the job. And then in 2010, I was given the best opportunity of my life. The Chief Minister then, Yang Berhormat Lim Guan Eng, asked me to work on a festival in Georgetown in Penang, and I had no background. I didn't know. I was given 6 weeks to plan the festival, a little budget, but I was very, very grateful because he whispered, if you ever need help, call me. And in those 9 years that I ran the festival, I think I called him 6 times. He responded all the time. And what was truly remarkable was he gave me the freedom. But what was the homework behind this was, before I started the festival, I had to think, what was a festival? What was the reason and the rationale behind the festival? Although we were supposed to celebrate the UNESCO listing, I wanted to build a brand, storytelling, narrative, and where was I going to take this festival to a global level. I'd like to share a video with you next, for those of you who don't know the festival. Welcome back. So that was my first job in the arts here in Penang. So the client was the Penang state government, and I had to deliver some key deliverables. So we got a lot of global attention, but what's normally interesting for a client is figures. So in the last year of Georgetown Festival, we spent 4.5 million. We brought in 111 million of PR value. We spent 6.2 on the local economy. So as a client, I had to deliver my job. I really enjoyed working for the Penang State. And then in 2016, I was invited by Abang Jo, they call him, that then was the tourism minister of Sarawak, to look at Sarawak Music Festival, which is globally famous and it had all the eyeballs. But they wanted to extend the number of tourists to stay from 3 days to maybe 10 days. So I was invited 4 times. I went to have a look at Kuching. I fell in love with the place. A lot of stories, a lot of narratives, a lot of global things that I could share with. And now I'd like to share a video of some of the Then came 2020, disruption. Everybody knows that they were all looking for disruptions for the Industrial Revolution 4.0. But for the creative community, this was, for me, a timely disruption for us to rethink, reimagine, and rework what our strengths were. COVID destroyed a lot of people's career. But I want to share something positive. If you look back in time, the Renaissance came after the Great Black Plague. And then after the Spanish flu came the Roaring '20s. So I tell everybody globally when I speak that look on the positive side. I want to share 2 stories. These are 2 kids that work for me. They're 27 years old. Marissa on the left actually started studying IT, and then David on the right was a law student. But they both joined me, and today they're still with me, and they've pivoted their careers. We were waiting for something to happen because there was no jobs. So what we did was to rebrand, reimagine what Joe Sidek Productions was. We invited global talents to come and join us to say, hey, would you come back to Penang and work with us again to build the brand again? And we had famous people like Ritipan, Sidi Labi. Everybody said yes, they loved Penang. Even Keng Hua, who's now a big name globally. A project that we started was because several creative talents, artisans in Penang came up to me and I said, could you help us do something? So we were working on a project that now we've postponed called O-Pen, as in O Penang. And it's basically to showcase some of the best creative brands in Penang. We have over 30 artisans that are globally, potentially global brands. But they're all here in Penang, and we're hoping to start the collective sometime later this year. While waiting, I discovered that the Singapore PERANAKAN Museum was closed, so this is the best opportunity to grab. So I'm working on a project proposal for PERANAKAN Penang to bring global attention back to Penang, which means that you can't wait for something to happen. You have to go out there and grab your opportunities. I was elected as chairman of Federation of Asian Cultural Promotion, and I chose that opportunity to bring the global attention to Asia, and we connect Asia. On one of the next project I want to do is Festival of Asia that will bring attention back to Malaysia, where for 2,000 years we were the epic center of East and West. So the narrative of Malaysia being the gateway of East and West. So like I said, you cannot wait for opportunities. You should go out there to make it happen. And opportunity is here. I'm in Penang, and I think being in Penang is one of the best places that you can be, because we have great land, we have great opportunities here, we have great talent here. Stay here and make it work for you. In the last 3 weeks, I've had speaking engagements all over the world. I've been 4 times in Austria. I was 3 times in Indonesia speaking online, 4 times in Taipei, 1 in Africa, all from Penang. So you can reach a global audience even when you are here in Penang. Local can be global. A lot of people think that you have to leave your island or your space because you have to go out there. But with the digital world now, you can actually be where you are and actually conquer the world. My big word is global domination. I want global domination for Penang. And Penang is strategically located. We have all the talents here. You have all the networks that you want to work with here. So it's very important not to think that you cannot make it big if you are local or you are situated locally. I think YBO quoted this too. I really believe this, that the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking for it. I'm 62. I think I found what I love doing. I love my work. I love Penang. And I intend to stay and make it work here. Thank you for joining me.
All right, thank you, Joe, for
Thank
joining
you.
us and being here. Your busy schedule. You can see love and passion is very, very important. And you said you took like 62 years finding out what you're passionate about. You know what? I think Penang people love you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so fantastic. We have got questions people posted, and one of the questions is, what is your advice for someone who wants to get into the arts but don't know how to start? Where do they start? How do they get into the arts and the dream?
It's quite simple now for young people. You just go online, you Google arts, dance, theatre, whatever that you think you like. And then there's a lot of organizations in Penang. There's obviously PTAG, there's Penang Art District, there's a State Museum, there's Penang Arts Council, there's Penang PAC. There's a lot of organizations out there that you can just do a search and then go and approach people and say, hey, can I join or can I know more about this organization?
Oh, okay. It sounds very simple.
It is.
But is it really that simple? Because sometimes people may confuse, like, okay, this is what I'm passionate about. I'm going to go head on. I'm just going to pursue just this only. So I think that somehow rather links to our topic, success through perseverance. Because I know for a fact that, based on your presentation just now, you did not start immediately in the arts. You started out something totally different, totally different. So let's say they say, okay, I want to be a famous singer. I know I can sing very well. So should they just go barge in and then say, okay, I will find out all the production houses can help me, because now everything is practically virtual, right? Given our current global disruption, which we are taking very positively, by the way. So what do you think is your advice to them?
My first advice is no anger, no fear, no ego. And then get help. If you want to be a singer, go and find coaches. If you want to be a dancer, learn. And have good friends who will advise you whether, hey, you're really good or you're not good. You really need real advice and honest advice.
Honest advice, which also means taking criticism.
Yes.
Well, all right. So yes, before we wrap up, I think we have only 1 more minute on the clock. If, let's say, you could give your younger self a piece of advice way back before you went to the UK and studied town planning, what would that advice be? Which I think is relatable to our millennials, our Gen Zs now watching and joining us.
Well, when I was 18, I really didn't know that I liked the arts. I just went to London because my best friend was going to London. I wanted to go, but I exposed myself a lot to galleries without really thinking that I was going to like it. I went to the opera and all that. I think the best advice is to experience, go out there, see things, watch things, so that you know what you like and what you don't.
So experience, learn over time. It is definitely not a fast process. It is not immediate, right? It took you many, many years. But then see the success that you are now. I think it's a very
Don't know
good
about
example.
the success, you know, but you have to persevere, and you really got to work really hard, do homework. I'm still doing homework. I'm 62 years old. I'm still doing homework every day.
Kids, don't skip your homework. Don't skip your homework. As you can see, Joe Sidek is a brand name by itself. Definitely when the then Chief Minister approached you to organize the Georgetown Festival, it was, whoa, something so big, right? But then you made it. So yes, I think this is something we all look forward to. And I think that's about it. Anything else we'd like to add? Otherwise, we're good to go?
I'm good to go.
All right. Once again, thank you for joining us
Thank you.
right here live on VCE 2020. Thank you, Joe. And we wish you all the best. May we have more positive vibes coming out despite this global disruption. And we'll stay on for the next panel session, which is very, very interesting. Till then.